Hey, and welcome to episode 92 of Antenna Heads, where we cover the best of TV from today and yesteryear. I am Brayan Cassis, joined by Alex Arujo.
How you doing, Brayan? Good to be here.
All right, and Cristina Arujo.
I'm here too.
You are here as well. Always fun to talk to you guys.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's a beautiful day outside. It's a
night.
beautiful night tonight. Let me do what I'm doing here.
Shut you down.
And what better way is there to spend a beautiful night than to gather with two friends and gab about the Flash?
I hate you both.
You hate one of us more, though.
True. Who could it be?
Yeah. Yeah, go flip the coin there, listener, and try and guess. Yeah. But we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Big show, full, jam-packed full of full stuff. Full. If I say it more, it seems like it's bigger.
We've gone,
At least that's what I tell the women.
Mega super.
we've gone the late night with Conan O'Brien route, where we got great guests coming and even better guests next week.
Artie Lang is here, everybody. You could probably get Artie Lang for nothing.
You don't want
No, a lot of stuff we're going to talk
Scott
about.
White is here.
That would be a get. I still want to get Marcella Lowry because she lives in the city. I
Well,
think she
go
lives in
find
Brooklyn.
her. I know. I got her address, remember?
That's
I
right.
don't know how I found it.
Sleuthing.
Sleuthing. You say stalking, I say sleuthing.
Accurate. Now, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff here. Flash season finale aired on Tuesday night. A lot of stuff happened on that. Very momentous episode. We're going to cover everything about that. We're also going to look back at the season as a whole and talk about what parts of the season we all adored, and more importantly, what parts we all deplored.
Oh,
You see
God.
that? See that with the wordplay there?
No.
See that? There's even a Tinny this week, guys. Tinny's making its big triumphant return. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm going to keep that a surprise. I mean, Cris and Brayan know. You, the listener, don't.
I was going to say, it's going to be a terrible tinny if we just finding it out.
I already
now.
forgot.
It's going to be fun. Maybe we'll get your notes. And
No, it's not there.
last but not least, we're going to kick it off right now with a look at all the shows that got canceled in the recent past. Because a couple of weeks ago, all the 5 major networks announced their schedules for the fall, announced their upfronts, and they also announced what shows they were axing. So I want to take a look at what these shows axing.
Yeah.
They're-
Because it's like a New Yorker saying, asking.
That's right. That's what I meant. Which shows they were asking to get off their lots. So I want to look at which shows we think should have been canceled, shouldn't have been canceled, and which ones, maybe most importantly, which ones were renewed that we think should have been thrown in the trash can along with Manhattan Love Story. Which I think we can all agree belongs there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Chris knew it belonged there.
So let's...
Winner.
It's true.
Chicken dinner.
I would have picked it, but I couldn't because you picked it first.
Because I'm
And
a
I would have
beast.
picked it because I picked before Al, but
Again.
couldn't pick it.
Let's get started here. Let's talk about the shows that we first thought shouldn't have been canceled. Were there any that you guys thought really deserve to be renewed? I think there's one for Brayan right off the bat.
There's a couple for me.
Take it away, Brayan.
I really liked Forever.
Mm-hmm.
I know it didn't get traction. It was a little weird, but it finally got to it finally had a nice middle ground where the characters started to flesh themselves out, and it had really good actors. And also Judd Hirsch was on it, so I love Judd Hirsch. And plus, do you guys care?
What, spoilers?
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I don't care.
Judd Hirsch is actually his son.
We already knew
We found that on the pilot.
Yeah, I know, but you find out more, and it's just like,
Like, really his son.
Yeah, he
No,
adopted
no.
him during World War II, I
mean,
believe.
you find out more of the backstory, you find out more of the other. It's just, and then it becomes human beings as far as opposed to characters. But the problem was it just started out poorly in terms of ratings. I don't think it was marketed the right way and positioned a good night for them, and that's it. So I would have loved to see that get picked up, but I had a feeling the way they were finishing the writing on the season, they knew they weren't going to get a.
I mean, I thought it was an okay show. I think a big issue it faced was, as you said, ratings weren't really there. The ratings weren't terrible for the season as a whole, but they weren't astronomically high. And the network already has an established series that's very similar to this in tone in Castle.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's hard to argue that they should have 2 of a very similar show. They're not CBS. I mean, they can support 9 of the same show.
And then, of course, About a Boy.
I was going to say, that's the one that I think Brayan wants to give a moment to.
I still think that it's one of the best comedy ensembles, with the exception of the main character in Will, which I don't think he's that funny.
Mm-hmm.
He could be funny on his own, but I just don't think he felt, just didn't fit in. Everybody else was fantastic in it. And that was it.
Yeah. Cris, any ones that you thought should have been renewed but were actually canceled?
Allegiance.
That's
I really enjoyed Allegiance.
Yeah.
The story got to a really, the story arc for the season got to a really interesting place. I mean, they did finish it off, really, but it was interesting watching it develop and, the characters grow. I mean, it got really good and I stuck with it and I loved it. So I think it's ridiculous that the network would cancel Allegiance and keep Undateable.
Yeah.
Because
the interesting thing is they not only kept Undateable, they also gave it an order of, I believe, 22 live episodes. Every episode of the third season will be live.
Who doesn't think that's fucking weird?
I think it's ridiculous because it's not a funny show.
It's not. And I understand that, they don't really have many comedies anymore. And
I don't think there are any comedies.
It's interesting. NBC, they ended up canceling 8 shows this season. Of the 8, 7 of them were actually, not comedies, but 7 of them were freshman series. So all but About a Boy. And About a Boy was a sophomore series, so it's new also.
It was.
They pretty much just threw everything against the wall. And
I mean, A to
wanted to
Z.
see what would stick.
A to Z's gone. Marry Me was your friend.
It was terrible.
That's
I
gone.
just think Allegiance deserved more episodes than it got.
Mm-hmm.
And I think renewing Undateable is a travesty. And then another show from CBS, Stalker, which really bothered me because I think Stalker is one of their only procedurals that kind of stands out as being, a concept that's really interesting and a bit grabbier than the normal stuff, a bit sexier than the normal stuff. And I think that just didn't gel with their geriatric audience. So
I liked Stalker too. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I will agree that I don't think it deserved to be canceled. I did like the tone that it had, that very scary and ominous tone to all the villains. I thought the idea and the individual stalkers of the week were all done really well and were all really fun to watch. I didn't enjoy Dylan McDermott.
Yeah,
but
he got better
like
with time,
Q.
though. What happens is over the season's arc, you get more into Maggie Q's character's background, and her, the guy who's stalking her basically goes. Do you guys mind if I?
No.
Please.
So spoilers.
The guy who's stalking her is the one that she busted in the pilot.
Yes,
Yeah.
who starts dating her friend.
Yeah.
So he dates her friend. She figures out that he's dating her friend. Her friend dumps him, but then he goes and gets her ex, who basically was the reason that she changed her whole identity, out of a psychiatric facility, and he basically starts stalking her again and killing, straight up just killing people.
And I like that character. I thought it was a good idea to have this season long or multi-season long, of course not multi-season now, antagonist where but she doesn't like him, and but he's not a good guy, but he always keeps getting away with it, and he's always in her life, and he always has an excuse to be there, and he's always just prodding at her. I thought that was a really good story.
Yeah.
And I think Maggie Q as a whole was pretty entertaining on the show.
And once her coworkers learn about her background, they all sort of come together where they're, basically taking turns staying at her apartment to make sure that, someone is there to keep her safe. And so they really do form a tighter bond, which is more of the reason why Dylan McDermott's character wasn't as obnoxious anymore.
And I'll mention this also in terms of ratings. Stalker did really quite well because recently they released a list, I forget who put it together, but I saw it on Deadline, of the season-long averages for the ratings of all these shows.
Right. And
Stalker was actually the highest rated in terms of both 18 to 49 and overall viewership freshman series. It had something like a 2.3 average rating in 18 to 49, which is, it's strong. It's not CBS strong, but it's still good.
Didn't they proudly boast that it was the number one new show?
Everyone boasts everything.
No, but
Yeah.
They say that all the time.
I thought they were pretty high on the show to start.
I mean, it was doing
CBS.
pretty well. It was right up there with Madam Secretary and Scorpion and CSI New Orleans.
Yeah, when you hear-
NCIS New Orleans is one of their 4 new dramas.
When you hear that Night Shift was last summer's hottest breakout hit, you can't really buy what they're saying.
But they averaged 10 million viewers also, which for CBS isn't amazing, but it's not bad at all.
But that's
Yeah,
the thing.
but that's a problem. For them, it's
It's right on the borderline.
Yeah.
They kept CSI Cyber,
Yes, they did.
which why?
I imagine ratings.
No, but they're going to wrap it in a movie, I thought.
No, that's CSI they're rapping. CSI, the original CSI actually ended, but they're giving it a movie later on to actually wrap all the storylines up. Then Ted Danson is moving over to CSI Cyber.
And they kept NCIS New Orleans, which...
That brings it
I'm sorry,
Again.
that was the biggest new show for CBS.
Yes.
That was.
Yes, it was.
That one was.
Chris is not happy about that fact.
I mean,
it's true. It's
let's
rape.
face it. They know what their
I would
audience
akin
is.
my expression to a grumpy cat face.
Fair enough.
They
Can be Lime Cat instead.
they know
No.
who their audience is. They're playing to their strong suit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a shame because I thought it's actually one of the few shows I actually watched more episodes of.
I mean,
I
come
didn't
on.
keep up with it, but I watched probably like 6 or 7 of them.
Right.
It was better than Scorpion.
Yes.
And Scorpion
yeah.
has to be more expensive to
Hands
make.
down.
I mean, think of the first episode alone, you had to rent a Ferrari and a plane.
Unless Dylan McDermott is asking for big money. Like, I can't.
That's possibly what it is. He knows he's only going to get one season out of a show, so he's like, I better ask for a lot of money up front. Let's look now.
Well,
Because I
one
basically
more.
agree with you guys.
There's
by
another
all
one.
means.
Okay. The other show that I was really upset got canceled, but it's okay because I guess it's moving to Hulu, is The Mindy Project.
Mm-hmm.
Because season 3 of The Mindy Project was fucking amazing. It was so good. It defies the laws of TV shows where normally when you have all that build for a couple to get together, when they finally get together, the show sucks. And the dynamic is off because it's okay, they're a couple now, but there's none of that tension, none of that energy. Mindy Project just got so much better when the couple finally got together because their chemistry was amazing. Their comedy, they just played off of each other so well. The dynamic of the show changed a little bit because obviously she wasn't, dating all these guys and you didn't have those characters coming in. But because they played so well off of each other, because she's, her character's pretty much just, I don't know how to explain.
A goof?
She's a goof, but she's like, she's like super confident and neurotic at the same time, and then like
she's a very empowered goof.
She thinks that she's younger than she is and like cooler than she is, and then her boyfriend is like the most curmudgeon-y old man of a young man, and like absolutely hates doing everything.
I'm dating Mindy Kaling?
But like he's way cooler than you.
Well.
And grumpier.
Now you're just lying.
And grumpier.
Hey, I listen to Taylor Swift.
You would
songs,
probably, understand a lot of his personality traits. I think you could.
You did. I don't know if you mentioned it. Mindy Project is actually picked up by Hulu.
Yes.
For 26 episodes, season 4. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on whether or not this is a good thing because we saw this happen with Community last year, and they got picked up by Yahoo Screen.
Yeah.
And while we did all see ads for the 6th season, I believe, of Community, I don't know how many people actually watched it. I know I didn't.
I love Community, and I didn't watch it.
Right. I mean, this is, I think, just delaying the inevitable with the Mindy Project is it gets picked up for a while, 26 episodes, and then Hulu realizes that a lot of people aren't going to sign subscriptions to watch Mindy Project season 4, which is really the reason for this. I mean, they're not going to be giving away this 4th season for free. They're going to be making people subscribe.
I hope so, because I'm going to watch it.
And I don't think a lot of people are going to do it. So I think in the long term, Mindy Project's still going to be canceled. And you have fans coming from, a network show going to a show being produced by Hulu. The budgets are going to get slashed. I don't know if quality is going to remain the same because they're probably going to be less writers.
That's my biggest concern, that the quality is going to suck and that they're not going to be they're not going to be able to hold on to cast members. Because whenever, a show transitions that way and they lose vital members of the cast, it's just like, why am I still watching you? Why?
It's true.
But I was particularly upset because they canceled Mindy Project, which was amazing this season, and they kept New Girl.
They did.
Which was ridiculously awful. So much so that I think Zooey Deschanel left, right? Or she's leaving?
I'm not sure, but I can tell you that in terms of season average ratings, in terms of overall viewership, New Girl was the lowest rated show to be renewed in terms of overall viewers.
It must be hitting some key demographic that they want to keep.
Probably gets like a 1.9, maybe a 2.
People just watch it because of her.
49.
Yeah, but I'm saying it must do something for them.
I mean,
they want to keep it. I would imagine it's not a cheap show to make.
It can't be that expensive. It's a sitcom,
But it's still, I don't know.
I mean, Zooey Deschanel is probably part of the reason they're keeping it, just because she's a recognizable name and people like her, and she's in the news a lot. But I don't necessarily. She's a famous celebrity. Is my point here.
She's
Not
not a
like she's crashing her car into a ravine or something.
She should. Or that's what maybe Mindy Kaling should have done.
That's what happened to the Mindy Project. It crashed into a ravine. Sorry,
Stop
sorry,
making
Chris.
fun.
It's a good point though. Although I don't think the ratings. I think the ratings on Mindy Project were even lower than New Girl. So
How is that possible?
you want? I'll show you right now. You banter a little while I search for these because I don't have them directly at hand. Or just say quietly.
Yeah.
Either one is fine.
Sitting quietly.
That means shut up.
No talking. Okay. New Girl, in terms of 18 to 49 for the season average, had a 1.8 rating. As where the Mindy Project had a 1.4 rating. Now, if we go to overall viewers, New Girl had 3.4 million viewers on average for the last season. And Mindy Project, if we go further down, had basically 3 million viewers. Still less viewers, not a lot less, but enough as to where they can rationalize canceling it. Basically, you guys mentioned all the shows I wanted to talk about. Stalker was one of mine, and forever I thought that I could see an argument for canceling it, but I understand that a lot of people were in favor of it, and it wasn't the worst show. Let's go to the more exciting part here. Which shows were renewed, but you guys thought should have been given the old boot into the can?
Before we do that, I can confirm that apparently the series creator for New Girl said that Zooey Deschanel is going to be leaving in the 5th season.
Are we going into the 5th season?
I believe
now?
so.
So that'll probably be the last season because you can't have New Girl. Well, you can get a New Girl to fill her spot, I guess.
Apparently, there's going to be a lot of changes and shift in the show's focus.
I literally haven't
call
watched
it
that. I
Old
watched season
Boys.
1. I watched part of season 2, and I just dropped it like a bad habit because it was very repetitive.
Deschanel's pregnant, so
Is she?
Yeah,
Good
so
for her.
she can only hide it in her dresses for so
Who's
long.
she dating or married to?
She's married, I think. I don't know. Someone.
All right, now let's
A
go.
lovely person, I'm sure.
Let's go to the shows you wanted to give the old guillotine to. Chris, you kick us off here. Which shows were renewed that you thought should have been canceled?
I was shocked that Gallivant was renewed.
Yeah.
Oh, please. I think we should just stop there. That is...
Oh, there's another one. Believe me.
Because how is that justice?
Yep. Forever got canceled, but Gallivant stuck around.
I
mean, it wasn't funny. It was a waste of time. Its one gimmick got old in 5 minutes. Far too much singing for a 30-minute show. And the ratings weren't even that great. It had a 1.9 rating in 18 to 49 for the season and 6.5 million viewers. You're on ABC. You should be pulling higher ratings.
And like I said, Undateable should have been axed. Not asked.
Should have been axed to leave.
And, of course, New Girl. Because I don't see the point.
I would also throw Mysteries of Laura in there.
Oh, yes. Why? I thought I had that written down, but I guess I didn't.
No.
But yes, definitely Mysteries of... Well, I mean, I feel like it's wrong for me to say that it should have been canceled when I only saw the first episode.
Oh, I saw part of another episode. You're fine. Believe me. I mean, we talked about it. It was my second worst show of 2014. Awkward concept, poorly executed, not funny in the least, really, really hurt the dramatic scenes in the show, having to mix comedy and a police drama. And Deborah Messing, I love you, but you're not great.
You ain't Lucille Ball.
You are not Lucille Ball. And the ratings on this were just awful. In terms of 18 to 49, 1.4 rating. Really, really bad. Really bad. I'm not rapping there. I just think it's quite deplorable. Brian, anything you want to add to the list?
No, Gallivant was a travesty.
Absolutely.
It wasn't even like one of those train wrecks you'd want to have people come over to watch. It was just a travesty.
Come over, bring some popcorn. We're gonna watch a train wreck.
Listen,
watch a train wreck.
There's some guilty pleasure
New
to
Girl's
it.
on.
But this, I think it's deplorable.
Stop stealing my words. Get your own words.
Doesn't it count
Next
when you
he'll
win?
ask, how is that justice?
Note to self. Buy Brian a fucking thesaurus. Alright. There you go. That's our list of what we thought the shows that should have been canceled. There's something in there. Just parse it.
Can we
Cipher
at
through.
least, Alan and myself, take enjoyment that they canceled both Bad Judge and Cristela officially?
Yes.
Although yours went for
Cristela
the entire,
Alonso was fighting it tooth and nail.
the
Jesus.
entire season.
I saw her on...
You guys need to get on that, by the way.
Here's the thing. Halfway through the season, I knew it was going to be dead when I saw her on an episode of Conan where she was doing her stand-up routine. I'm like, if you're going to your old bag of tricks as a comedian and can't subside on your celebrity as somebody with a sitcom, you must be hurting for certain. I should have said hurtin' for certain, but hurting for certain. Doesn't make any
No
sense
more.
at all.
Done.
Show title.
Next.
Next. I'll tell you what wasn't deplorable, Brian, because I can use it. The latest episode and the last episode of season 1 of The Flash. So much
Not
stuff happened.
deplorable, says Alex. Said it was
That's right.
true.
You can quote me on that.
Headline.
Dear listener, if you remember back to last week, at the end of the last episode of The Flash, we talked about Harrison Wells, Eobard Thawne, had been struck in the leg by the Arrow's arrow, and he had been robbed of his powers. Barry had seemingly won, and yet we still had a season finale to take care of, so what possibly could happen to make it even better than that last episode, which was really quite good? So much happens. So much happens. Not all of it good, but a lot of stuff happens, and it's time to talk about all that stuff. Time to talk about Central City's Red Rogue. That's all I'm going to do.
He's not a rogue.
He's a rogue.
There's
no,
a whole thing
he's
about
not,
the rogues
He's
gallery,
not Wentworth
yeah.
Miller. That's right.
What
He's
about
much better.
the Sanguine Speedster?
Sanguine? No?
Sanguine Red? Because
I imagine. I don't
he's
know.
going to look it up now.
I don't know.
No,
Let's
it's
confirm.
just, let's just go to it. It's the flashback.
Savior of the universe. Flash. You save every one of us.
All right.
Flashback.
It doesn't work if you do it after.
I'm sorry. You should have given me time to say it.
It's a
Our
chalk.
fans have grown attached to me saying
It's
it.
a chalk of reddish brown color. It's close enough.
It's the flashback, folks. Let me cut all that out.
The dirty Flash.
It's dirty flash.
Dirty Flash.
So much happens in this episode, as I said, and there's only one person who can tell us all about it in a quick, concise fashion, as she is the concise leader of Antenna Heads. Cris,
I was looking for some alliteration. Concise Cris or something.
I'm tired. But I've been putting in a lot of hours at the old Antenna Head studio. Cris, tell us all about what
the
happened.
beast of brevity. I don't know. Something good.
You don't like it if I called you a beast.
No, don't call me a beast.
Yeah, that's not cool, dude.
The bitch of brevity.
One brevity bitch herself.
A brevity ass bitch.
Cristina is going to tell us all about the events of
That was really
episode
long for someone who's good
23.
at saying these short.
No fucking kidding. Episode 23 of The Flash, Fast Enough.
So, in the episode Fast Enough, Barry has to be fast enough to...
Sounds like that song supposed to be.
No, please don't.
I'll play that later.
No. He has to be fast enough to basically create a wormhole to get back to the past to save his mother. The episode starts off with him, with Eobard Thawne imprisoned in the particle accelerator.
You finally got it. Took
Right?
the whole season.
Took a long time.
23 episodes.
It's been a long time. Anyway, so Barry goes to basically interrogate him and ask him, "Why did you kill my mother?" And he explains that he came back in time to destroy Barry because they're basically nemesises in the future. And he hated him so much that once he found out his name, he needed to come back in time to destroy him. But Future Flash came back in time, followed him back in time, and saved Child Barry before the man in yellow, right?
Eobard Thawne.
Eobard Thawne could kill him. And in revenge, he basically stabbed Barry's mother to
Scar him.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, so that he wouldn't become the Flash.
But then he, of course, as we know, discovered he needed Barry because he couldn't get back into the future. And so he had to sort of train him and, mold him into the Flash to,
so he could get back to his time.
So he explains to Barry that now that the particle accelerator is working, if he and a single particle of hydrogen were to collide in the particle accelerator, with him going at Mach 2, he would create a wormhole which would allow him to travel back in time to the night in which his mother was killed to stop her from being killed.
Mm-hmm. Travel through the Speed Force.
Sure.
It's a very big Flash thing, the Speed Force.
And right at the same time, essentially, Eobard Thawne would use a time machine that Cisco and Ronnie created to move forward in time back to his time.
Yep. But Barry would only have, I think,
2
minute
minutes,
and 58
2
seconds.
2.
52 seconds, you're right.
Yeah.
To do so, or else the wormhole would create a black hole that could potentially swallow Central City whole. And the world.
Yes. So Barry goes back in time, runs into future him. Yes. Yeah, I'm like, the timelines. Future him. And future him sees him and basically gives him the signal, no, don't save her. And he does not save his mother because of essentially the timeline and the way things would shift. So he allows his mother to be stabbed. And once everyone is gone from the room, he goes and says his final goodbyes, which was really heart-wrenching.
It was the 3 minutes is probably the 3 most powerful minutes of The Flash.
Of the whole series.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Who cried?
Big ups.
Hands.
Oh, no,
Hands.
Not only did
It was bad
I didn't cry
allergies.
when I watched it the first time, but when I watched it the second time, I didn't cry, but writing the notes describing it, I had 2 tears fall down. One in each eye.
Did you really, or are you just saying
No,
that?
I am not lying.
Okay.
You can hear my voice.
It's a gut-wrenching.
2 tears, says Alex Arucci.
It's really hard to describe just how emotional a scene it is.
Yeah.
Just from the fact that Barry doesn't have the power, as strong as he is as the Flash, to intervene because he knows that his future self says not to, and he must have a reason.
Yeah.
So he just has to stand there while his mother is killed, listening the whole time. And the facials on Grant Gustin perfectly captured
They were
it.
amazing.
I mean, not only then, but later on when he's talking to his mom, this woman that he wanted to see for the last 15 years, and he just wanted to, say goodbye to, essentially, and he finally gets that opportunity, but he still loses her in the end, and he's powerless again. It's such an impactful scene, and again, Gustin's face sells it perfectly.
You look just like my father.
This won't make any sense. But it's me, Mom. It's Barry. You're Barry.
Oh, my beautiful boy.
I got a second chance to come back here. To tell you that I'm okay. Dad and I are both okay. And we love you, Mom. I love you.
Come on, baby.
I mean, like we said, it was seriously the most powerful acting the whole season. And if you could see them, all of the applause emojis for Grant Gustin, he's just
144.
all of them.
140.
Wasn't it
140.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, for some reason I thought
144 is
142.
text. 144 used to be text, where you could only send 100.
Yeah, emojis are more.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of the applause emojis. He's grown into such a great actor over the
really
course
is.
of the season. You've really seen him improve every episode. And I think it's just, the level of emotion that he showed in that scene. It was just, I mean, throughout the whole episode, really.
Yeah. Oh, that scene with him and Joe when he's talking to Joe before he leaves about, and he's realizing that Joe was as much a father to him as his father in prison ever was.
And by
that
changing the timeline,
he could potentially lose Joe. And
Right.
then Jesse L. Martin telling him that he's never going to lose him no matter
Yeah.
what. Again, I
getting
didn't
a little
cry.
choked up right
I
now.
didn't cry. I did get a little lumpy in the throat.
And then the moments with his father.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Henry
With his
Allen,
father,
the
too.
actor who plays Henry Allen, did
Holy
a wonderful
shit!
job
This
there, too.
whole episode.
It's like, what? You got a heart? Well, I'm going to twist it right now. I might not have a
Twist it
speed hand to
hard.
crush your heart.
But what happens, Chris? What happens after Barry's mother dies? Because he didn't
When-
save his mom.
He did not save his mom. He was able to say his final goodbye, and then he returned through the, what is it called?
Wormhole.
Well,
Oh, through the Speed Force.
yeah. I thought I was looking for that word, but
Sorry.
through the wormhole works just as well. He returns through the wormhole just as Eobarthon is sitting in a orb-like time machine, which is
The,
really fucking weird looking.
Time ball.
It was fucking weird.
Cisco had a name for it. It's actually the name that Rip Hunter refers to it as, but I just couldn't put it together.
And he crashes right into it,
Yes.
destroying the time machine.
He does the old girder punch, but actually fucking nails it.
It worked. I came from the time, bitch.
But again, did it work? Because Harrison Wells, Eobarthon gets right back up and almost kills him. Did it really work?
It worked because now he can't go forward in time. He doesn't have a time machine.
He stopped him, but it's not like he defeated him with the punch.
No, but it accomplished the fact that he couldn't move forward in time.
I suppose.
You don't get your just desserts, or you get your just desserts because you don't get your reward.
We'll talk about
because
that. But
I didn't save my mom. I don't know.
Of course, there's a big reverse flash fight. Eobarthon gets the upper hand, is about to kill Barry, and I thought in a very good scene by Tom Cavanaugh here. Tom Cavanaugh was pretty good for the most part in this
He
episode.
was. I was pretty surprised. Even in the beginning, when he was talking about, his past or his future, essentially,
Yep.
and, what his life was like, I thought he was really good.
I thought he did very well, and I thought he kept that soft-spoken, methodical villain role
Yeah.
that I really like him in.
Yeah.
Again, at the end, when he's talking about how Barry could have had everything, he ruined it. Not only is he going to kill Barry, he's going to kill all of his friends, and then he's going to go kill his father too.
Yeah.
Very good there too.
Yeah.
I thought that's where Tom Cavanaugh
'cause
is at his best.
He had the mask on. The mask made it better.
No, not only that, but he's not trying to
Right?
be.
He did have a mask.
Yes, he did. He
think
was in
so.
because he was in his whole suit to go back in time,
Yeah.
or forward in time rather. He wasn't trying to be awkwardly funny. He wasn't trying to make little witty, little witticisms. That's a word. # witticisms. He was just trying to be a heel, and he accomplished it quite well.
Maybe it was also the fact that he was using the reverse flash voice. It wasn't his voice. It was like the voice.
He did the Batman.
Yeah.
He did the Chicago
The Voight.
PD. Yeah, that's
Voight.
right.
# Void.
But importantly, right before Eobarthon kills Barry, Eddie makes himself important to the season as a whole
Holy shit.
by doing something none of us expected last week and taking his own life. He shoots himself in the chest, thus erasing his future and thus the birth of Eobarthon and everything that Eobarthon is doing. What did you think of Eddie, Cris?
I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was really good the whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think his moments with Dr. Stein, where
Yes.
he's basically, figuring out that he's here for a reason, even if Eobarthon told him that he's not going to make any impact on history. It's in his power to change things because, he is...
History isn't set.
No. I don't know. The way it works on the show, it's very hard to know.
Oh,
If
we'll
history is
we'll talk
fluid or-
about all of the little things in here because there's about 18 pages worth of stuff to talk
Then
about.
he has the moments with
Iris.
Iris when he apologizes and says, you are my future, and those were nice. I mean, it was a little weird that he arrested the guy who mugged her when he was off duty. Anyone else think that was weird? I was like, can you do that?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I don't know if
Citizens
you can do
arrest,
that.
baby. Ka-chow.
But he's not a citizen.
Supersonic
Well, he's
punch,
a citizen,
baby.
but he's a police officer. I don't know. Whatever.
Like I said, I thought Rick Constant here did a good job. I think the one issue I had was that with the whole Iris-Eddie relationship, the week before, they broke up.
Yeah.
And then this week they get back together, obviously just so that his death could be more impactful on Iris.
Yes.
I thought it would have been better served had they just kept them together. And maybe even started making wedding plans. Started going forward in their lives, because then when he dies, it's even more impactful.
They did start moving forward. I mean,
right now, in this episode they did.
Yes, they got back to the course that they were originally on. And I think it was important because they had to get back together. Because when Eddie starts to understand that there are no coincidences and that he does have a role in the future, that's when he realizes the mistake he made with Iris and that nothing is set with her, marrying Barry, that he can still get the girl. So he has to, once he realizes that, he has to fix the wrong with Iris.
No, but I thought he would have been...
And he needs that idea to allow him to kill himself to stop Eobard Thawne. If he doesn't realize, I have a role to play and I have power, he wouldn't have killed Eobard Thawne.
I think he could have realized that without the whole Iris-Eddie situation being involved in that.
I think it had to be involved because...
That's the catalyst for change in his mind.
I disagree.
If he realizes...
I think if he just realized or looked around and said, man, because he says this when Victor Garber starts talking to him, it's like, well, Joe wanted me to be here in case I could be of any help, but I'm useless, he could have just said, as Eobard Thawne said, my life is supposed to be a meaningless one, which he did.
He did.
In that. And have that be the catalyst for Victor Garber saying that history or the future isn't set, and then Eddie kills himself all the same.
Yeah,
no,
but
because when you realize that you have the power, no. The reason the reason it has to be involved is because the sole reason Eddie broke up with Iris was because he thought that he wasn't going to end up with her because he had no control over the future. Victor Garber tells him, you do have control. There's no such thing as coincidences. You have power. And that is the catalyst for him getting back with Iris, but it's also the catalyst for him taking the gun in his own hand and killing himself because he has control.
I understand what you're saying. I just think that he could have still realized everything the same.
And not gotten back together with Iris?
No, and not broken up with Iris in the first part.
Well, he broke up with her because he thought he had no power. I understand why
he broke up with her. I think that had Eobard just said your life is going to be meaningless and not involved Iris at all, that still would have germinated all the same. He still would have gotten to the same point.
The thing is, it twists the knife because it's like you can be a nobody and still have someone who loves you, but you don't even get the girl. So you're going through all this work. You got a ring in your pocket right now, and you think that, at least you're going to have something in your life, but you're not even going to get Iris. Barry, who I'm here and I'm doing all of this because of him, he's the one who's going to end up with her.
Opinions are opinions, but there is a crucial last minute to this episode where after Eddie dies, the wormhole becomes this black hole that we've been talking about that could possibly swallow Central City.
The singularity. The singularity, which somehow super scientist Caitlin Snow didn't know what a singularity was at all. That bothered me.
I thought that was really weird too. What's a singularity? I think that Caitlin throughout this whole episode seemed a little like...
You know why?
Ditzy because of fucking Ronnie.
Ronnie's back.
Which pisses me off. Like, oh, Ronnie's back. I have to be soft-spoken, Caitlin.
Right, but before we get to Caitlin and Ronnie, because believe me, we will cover them. Singularity grows into a black hole, starts swallowing the city. Barry runs off to fight it, and that's where the season ends. So, big cliffhanger. What's going to happen? Will Barry be able to save Central City? All that and a lot more will be discussed and revealed in season 2 of The Flash. Now, let's get to Caitlin and Eddie. In this episode...
Caitlin and Eddie. Ronnie.
Caitlin and Eddie. Why did I say Caitlin and Eddie? Caitlin and Ronnie, thank you.
Yeah, you had Eddie on the brain.
As I often do. Rick Conson. Caitlin and Ronnie. Ronnie returns at the end of the last episode, as we saw, and in this episode, he and Caitlin are reunited after months of not speaking to each other, or at least not seeing each other. Of course, Caitlin has been seeing that photo of Ronnie at the end of her bed every night.
Oh my
evidently.
God.
But they decide to get married in this episode. And from that moment, Caitlin becomes a ditzy girl.
Before that moment.
Yeah, but that's all like in one scene.
No, the whole episode from the very beginning when Ronnie's there, and it's like, well, it was so nice of you to come and help Barry, and then he's like, he's not the only reason I came back. I asked you to marry me, before the whole particle accelerator thing, and she's like, "Yeah, you did." Yes,
You do a
you did.
terrible Danielle Panabaker.
Go watch it again.
You could just play
Okay,
it, I mean,
that
if
was
only there's a way to snap fingers and have it played.
98.6. Normal.
I don't even know what that word means anymore.
Me neither. I know Barry really appreciates you coming back to help him stop Wells.
It's not the only reason I'm back, Kate. I'm here now. For good.
But I thought...
I thought too. I thought too much about what might happen if the government tracked us down. If we couldn't control our powers and we hurt someone. If we hurt you. But I realized that although sometimes I'm more than one man, I'm not whole unless I'm with you. I love you, Kate.
Are you sure?
I am. Once upon a time, and a particle accelerator or so ago, you agreed to marry me.
Yes, I did.
What do you say we do then?
It was pretty good.
Yeah. It wasn't as good as my my black nerd from a couple episodes ago.
From
my Fred
Saved by the
Sanford.
Bell.
But yes, the thing is, Caitlin is, as we've established before, this independent, strong, smart woman, and as soon as her boyfriend rolls into town, she becomes this ditzy girl who all she's focused on is marriage and doesn't even know a basic scientific term when she's now the most senior scientist in Star Labs.
I don't know that it's that basic, but
I imagine a scientist would know what a singularity is.
I don't know. I don't know what scientists
Now
think.
time to for our newest segment, Ask a Scientist. Scientist, do you think you would know?
Yes.
There you go.
Please, you ain't no scientist.
No.
I knew what a singularity was, though.
Oh,
See?
good for you.
Brayan knew! And Danielle Panabaker is much smarter than Brayan.
True.
Yes, it annoyed me a lot. Also, the wedding scene annoyed me a lot because it's held on
It was fucking weird.
the grounds of Star Labs, which is fine. Victor Garber presides, which is a good choice.
It's like
And-
the parking lot. Like,
No, not
come
that.
on.
Not only
you
that.
have to have a nicer room than this.
But fucking Caitlin walks out in a lovely wedding dress, veil and everything. And here's fucking Ronnie Raymond, Robbie Amell, in his fucking bomber jacket and jeans. Everyone else is dressed normally, and that's fine, but this is your fucking wedding day, and you had enough time to get dressed because your girlfriend had enough time to buy a dress.
She probably already had it. They were engaged.
He couldn't go
They
to
were
a
going to
fucking
get married.
Men's Warehouse?
Weren't they going to get married
No.
in like a month?
When the particle accelerator
Yeah.
happened? Something like that.
So yeah, she
Shit,
had
I
her
think she
dress
had
up.
it already.
Oh, and he couldn't have had a suit or a tie? He didn't even wear a tie.
I'll
It's
be
his
on my
wedding
suit
day.
and tie.
And what's maybe more annoying is that whole scene when they're being married, he is just like trading idiotic barbs with Victor Garber.
It's his boy, man.
No, but as a character...
Well, he wants to know that this is legal, okay?
No, but it's like, after he says kiss the bride, he's like, oh, don't tell me what to do.
Don't mind
Because
if
he's
I do.
always telling him what to do.
It wasn't
It was-
funny.
I know.
And it hurt
I
the
got-
character
I
because
got
he should
you.
be in the moment
I
when
got you.
being
I think
wed
this
to
whole
lovely
episode
girl.
failed Caitlin.
Meanwhile, wait, aren't they connected so they can feel like...
Please stop.
No.
Stop that line of thought right now.
I think that's all been like ignored because in terms of the context of the episode or the continuity of the series, whenever they're not together or Ronnie isn't wearing a thing on his chest, they should be, as Brian said, experiencing the same thing, having similar
Emotion-wise.
desires. Yeah. But no, it's fine. Hey,
Please.
get your best bomber jacket on. Time for a wedding.
That's why he ran to marry them. He's like, oh yeah.
Please, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Can we talk about Tom Cavanaugh?
sure.
Okay. As I said, I really liked Kavanaugh for the most part in this episode. There's one scene when he's still drifting a bit into that overzealous, over-the-top acting, but for the most part, he's really good in this episode. I thought the issue was the character of Eobard Thawne throughout this episode is really softened. He's that strong villain character that he's built up this whole season was really diminished in this episode because there's a lot of scenes when the characters, or rather where the characters are talking to him and he's talking to them, and he makes it clear that he's not the worst guy. He's just a guy who, well, in his opinion, he's just a guy who got trapped in the wrong time, doesn't belong here, is among the dead, as he said, but he respected all the scientists, Cisco, Caitlin. He at one point says he believes in Barry and he knew Barry was going to do great things or something.
And he feels for him like a father.
Right. He tells
Which is
Cisco
fucking
when
weird,
Cisco
too.
Slap in the
discovers.
face.
He tells Cisco when Cisco discovers that he has powers also.
Yeah.
But he's given these powers to him as a gift of love and that he's going to have a bright future. He's really made to be this somewhat likable character, and this is the worst time to do that because at the end of the episode, he has to have this big climactic fight with Barry. And by the end of that fight, when Barry comes in and punches him through the weird glass space teleporter or whatever it is, I didn't want to see that fight. I just wanted to see Tom Cavanaugh go back into the future and Barry come back.
You wanted to see that?
Because that
I didn't.
His villainous character had been stripped from him for the most part.
No.
I
disagree
with
because
myself.
I don't think that it was stripped as much as you think it was. I think it was definitely softened from what you've seen because, I mean, he's been shown in the past to just be a straight up murderer. But really, what he's trying to do is just say, you know, I was kind of put in this. I mean, I came back because I fucking hated you, and I tried to do the worst shit ever, and then I was stuck, and I grew to know you guys, and I grew to, you know, feel for you guys. But ultimately, he just wants to get back to his time, and he wants what he wants, and he comes first, and that's what it is.
But the issue is,
As much as it's softened by, oh, you know, I care for you guys, I respect you guys, that doesn't change any of the things he's done while he's been with them. He just says,
it changes the way the viewer feels about the character.
Not for me.
I think it does. Because he could have said everything that he had said for the most part. Maybe not some of the stuff about how, oh, I view Barry as a son and you're great and Cisco, you're going to have a bright future. But he could have said all the things about wanting to get back to his own time and not belonging here while being condescending and arrogant. And that would have made him a much stronger villain. As where the way he says it in this episode, you kind of feel for the guy, and you shouldn't.
That's it? That's all?
What do you want me to say?
I don't know, Cisco. I thought that if anyone, you'd be a little more understanding of my predicament. I don't belong here. These barbaric times. It's like living amongst the dead.
The reason I think you kind of needed it was because you have to get Barry to agree to go back in time and to essentially help him and give him what he's been working towards, you know, all these years, what he's always wanted, just to go back to the future. If he is an absolute, like, asshole villain, there's no way, matter. Hold on, you know why?
Okay.
Because he just went through the whole thing with fucking Rogues Gallery, where he trusted, you know, like, someone who he knew was, like, fucked up.
He did that anyway.
And he
here.
got screwed over. No, he didn't.
No.
He trusted the man who killed his mother. That's what he did.
He didn't to the same extent because he had Dr. Stein and everyone else check all the science to make sure that everything worked properly. And they did change a lot of the things that he had started because they found that it didn't work or it didn't. And really, because they had, you know, worked together and he described how he had helped with this and how he helped with that, he wasn't as much of a, you know, complete, like, devious, evil person.
Right.
Because there were those, you know, sort of things. So it's kind of like, I help you, you help me.
But here's the thing.
And he was just,
go ahead.
I mean, because he goes and he says one of the probably the best lines in the whole fucking show when he says, I hate you, Barry. And he just goes out and says it. None of this fucking playing, you know, advisor, father figure,
Yes.
confidant.
But that's the beginning of a speech, which then drifts dramatically into, oh, I'm just a poor guy in the wrong time.
Well, but the other thing was, as soon as Barry comes back at the end, he flips back, he flips
Right.
the fucking switch.
Yes. That seemed kind of out of nowhere considering this whole time.
No. See, but I think that plays to he needed to convince Barry to go back in time, to open up the wormhole, give him enough time to be able to escape, so that he could leave and then kill Barry another way.
Right. But you're missing the main aspect, which is Barry didn't need convincing. Barry in this episode was solely focused on going back and saving his mom.
I don't think so. I didn't pick that
look
up.
at the conversation he has with Joe.
Yeah, but he was hesitant first. He needed to make sure that everyone else was okay with it.
Which in itself is odd, because why would anyone be okay with you possibly destroying their entire existence just so that you could maybe get your mom back?
Not necessarily their existence. I mean, they'll
No,
continue
they're
to
gone. If he changes...
Their life would change.
change.
Yes.
They're not gone,
Well, the person that they are today is gone.
but they wouldn't know.
They know what's going to happen. They know they're not going
yeah, but
to
what
exist.
I'm saying is,
But they don't know how it's going to change.
They would never know. I'm saying Barry could have just gone, and they would have never known their life was any different.
But they did know.
The only person that would know is Barry.
But they did
And
know,
Cisco.
and they agreed to it, and that was the weird thing.
Cisco. Yes,
And Caitlin
but that's part
no,
of what
Cisco
makes
would know because Cisco has the power.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about
Power.
Cisco. Vibe.
Well, what I'm saying is, if Barry asking them brings that to him bringing them into his life as how important they are. Barry's the only person who'll ever know what happened. These people, whether he goes back in time or not, their life.
But why would a reasonable person agree to it? Why would I say, Brayan, sure, go back in time and do this and wipe out my entire life?
Well, because Barry's not Brayan. Barry thinks about other people.
Barry's a likable character.
Barry
Brayan.
spent the last year
Chris?
saving everyone's lives.
Yeah, well, that's what
Barry,
I'm saying.
all Barry has
That's what
ever
Barry
wanted
does.
was to try and save his mom and to get his father out of jail.
I know, but it still seems a little.
They've all met his father. They know that he doesn't belong in jail. They know the truth.
And even the people who are supporting this idea, you know, him going back and saving his mom, there's a lot of potential issues with that. Changing the future and making things worse.
Sure,
It would
absolutely.
completely change everything.
Let's not maybe do that. Maybe we get a much worse reality. Maybe your mom is the next Hitler.
But let's go this way, right?
Let's not go that far.
Let's say, as far as Caitlin's concerned, Ronnie's not the same. Even though she's married to him, he's not the same. Her life is different now because she's trusted this guy, Dr. Wells, who's been, it just whatever. We don't know Papa Fillin's backstory as to Iris's mom, do we?
I think she died. I don't remember.
What their relationship was?
No, yeah. What happened to?
No, I mean Joe and Barry's dad, Henry, they were friends.
No. What happened
Papa
to Iris's
Fillin's
mom?
wife.
Oh, she just died.
Yeah. So maybe listen.
She has the Disney disease where
hypothetically,
it's one
he might be thinking, well, maybe so and so's my wife might still be alive in the next. But Caitlin is thinking
he wouldn't experience that.
I think
only Barry would.
No,
yeah, but
he
Barry
would experience that because that would be. He's thinking, well, what's the difference? What matters? This is where my life is now. I'm going to lose Barry, but maybe I gain something else. Caitlin might be thinking the same thing. She's like, well, Ronnie's all fucked up, and but maybe my life will be different if he goes back in time. Maybe they're in a position in life and they realize, what, life is good because you know what you have, but Barry's sacrificed a lot. They've also almost died how many times this season, right?
To be fair, I think Iris has saved Barry an awful lot of times.
What I'm saying, they've almost all died at several points this season, right?
Sure.
So Barry has given them life again.
Yes.
Just to go into this weird meta thing, but he's saved them so many times. The least they could do, I guess, by him asking is saying, well, fuck Barry, go back and save your mom and your dad.
I still doubt it would happen, but that's different. That's, again, disagreeing opinions. Let's talk about Cisco. Cisco in this episode, as we said, discovers that he has some odd metahuman ability to look into previous timelines and remember experiences in previous timelines and things like that. What did you think of Cisco's discovery of this? And what if I told you that this is somewhat similar to Cisco Ramon in the comics? Would you be interested in that?
No.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. But first, what did you think of Cisco getting metahuman powers?
I was happy that there was an explanation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
we'll agree
and
to
I
that.
thought it was a good explanation.
Feasible.
Yeah.
It was better than I was. I was expecting some stupid fucking.
I was expecting
weird
nothing
science.
because that seemed like the way they were going.
They were going to say something, but I thought
Barry
it
was just like, the important thing is he can do it.
That
Look
can't
over
even say
here.
the words.
Oh, lucid dreaming. Yes, lucid dreaming. I agree. They explained it. It was a good explanation.
I thought it was a good explanation, and I thought it was fitting that Cisco, the namer of all metahumans got a power.
That's right. He gets one of the worst names as a superhero, though.
It sounds seriously.
His name is Vibe.
Sounds like a vibrator. It is a vibrator.
In the comics, Cisco Ramon was originally a gang member in Detroit, I believe. The leader, actually, of Los Lobos, the gang in Detroit. That's right. When he hears the Justice League is creating a Detroit Justice League, he joins up because he has the ability to create basically power bursts through vibrations as a metahuman.
How does that fit in with his power?
Well, maybe he vibrates at the right frequency and he can see into different universes.
That sounds stupid. Stop ruining it.
That's definitely what's going to happen. At least somewhat, because there's a lot of clues.
He's going to make some equipment or something.
There's a lot of clues, like the friend from Static Shock.
No, because that's what he does for everyone. He
Armory.
does that for like every freaking metahuman. It's like,
That's true.
let's make this special thing.
I totally forgot what I was
Okay.
going to say. Like I said, there are a lot of clues into parallel universes, because one of the things we see before Barry comes in and punches Eobard Thawne is a Flash helmet land, or rather a helmet with wings land.
Yeah.
That helmet belongs to Jay Garrick, the original Flash. The Flash from the 1940s to 1956, the Golden Age Flash. When the Silver Age Flash, Barry Allen, came into existence, Jay Garrick was basically put on Earth 2, which is a parallel universe that exists in parallel to
Fucking
the current
comic
Earth.
books. Always so complicated.
So it looks like in season 2 of The Flash, we're going to have parallel universes, different Flashes, different superheroes altogether, coming in, going out. Especially now that Cisco has this ability to look into parallel timelines. Get excited. Also, there was a lot of teasers and just little interesting notes in the Speed Force when Barry's traveling through.
Barry was in jail?
Barry was in jail. We see a Flash museum.
Yep.
I didn't see that.
Oh, there was.
I stopped paying attention for a bit.
There's a lot of shots from DC's Legends of Tomorrow in there, and maybe the most important thing, we got a first look at Killer Frost. Caitlin Snow.
I saw that.
Yeah, not a good look. I thought
You'd expect her to be wearing white.
it's like blue and black with like blonde hair. I think
It was fucking weird.
it's.
It was strange.
I'm not a big fan of it, but wasn't a big fan of her marrying Ronnie either. So what am I gonna do?
Who should we talk about next? Iris.
Meh.
It's a sign of a really good episode when I don't absolutely hate Iris.
Yeah.
Because she actually thought about someone else for once.
Mm-hmm.
When Barry, goes to her and asks her, what do you think I should do? She basically tells him, you need to do what's right for you and, what you can live with, what'll make you happy. And, that pretty much clinched his decision to go back in time.
Growing up together and knowing so much about each other, it made it hard for me to admit how I felt about you. And I waited too long, and you fell in love with Eddie. But living with you and Joe, I've had a great life, Iris.
Come here, Barry.
What do you think I should do? I need someone to tell me.
I think everyone's in your life, Barry Allen. You should stop thinking about other people. I think you should do what's in your heart. Do what you need to do for yourself.
I thought her performance was really good. And like I said, that's the biggest compliment I can give, that I didn't fucking hate Iris in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was really good. I thought she was pretty much on par with everyone else in the
Rate
episode.
bad actors though. Which one was on top? Rick Constant or Candace Patton?
I think Candace was the top.
That sounds wrong.
Right.
I was
I'd
definitely
probably give it to Rick Constant.
I was constantly more annoyed by Iris's character.
And acting.
But that's the thing. I don't know that it was necessarily the acting. It was, it was her inability to see outside of herself, to think about anyone but herself.
Right.
So, another thing I noticed. Did you notice Papa Fillins has some beautiful teeth?
Yeah, I've noticed for you. You know what I noticed? In Grodd Lives,
When, they did that
when he's in
close-up?
so much pain that or he's so scared that he's like, I'm like, are you
Some
happy?
very straight bottom teeth.
Nice teeth.
Very nice.
teeth. Good for you, Jesse L. Martin. Keep up the dentistry visits. I don't know what to say. There is one little thing I want to talk about last. Cisco in this episode is a bit of a jackass at one point because Eobard Thawne asks him to build his spaceship, or asks Barry to build the
Time
spaceship.
machine.
Time machine.
It's not a spaceship.
It's a I don't know what it is.
No.
He called it like the time ball or
It's
time
a time
sphere.
machine, dude.
Time sphere is what he called it, I believe.
But it's a time machine.
I was
not
wrong.
A spaceship.
I'll fuck off. I'll fuck off. And he asks Barry to build, and then Cisco's like, "Oh, Ronnie, please, this isn't like building an IKEA bookcase." And it's like, listen, I'm not a big fan of the character of Ronnie, but he built the fucking particle accelerator.
Honestly, like, I was so confused by that statement. I was like, didn't he have to go in and shut down the particle accelerator on his own because he built
Your
it?
punk
and
ass
knew
is sitting
it,
outside
so
writing down names.
Just because he might lift, bruh,
Hello.
doesn't mean that he can't handle science.
That's right.
Bruh.
So, if Wells is as fast as you, what's he need a time machine for?
Apparently, he lost his speed when he killed my mom. He gets it back sometimes, but only in spurts. He can't fully control it.
So I was right about the wheelchair. He was using it to charge himself.
So after I open the wormhole, he's gonna need the ship to travel back to the future. He's been squirreling away the parts.
Now we just need to put it together.
Ronnie, I love you, but this is a time machine, not a bookcase from IKEA.
And not only that, but now he shares a
Science,
mind with Victor Garber, so his intelligence has gone through the roof.
Yeah. Victor Garber was good in this episode, too.
Intelligence on fleek.
Anything else to add, or do you want to go to ratings on this episode before we wrap up on the season?
Hold on.
Why don't we finish up with some Eddie?
Who's this Samedi fellow?
Some Eddie. When Eddie shot himself, I was kind of just like, that was the sound I made.
I was surprised, but I thought it validated the character of Eddie throughout the season, because otherwise it's like, this character's pretty meaningless.
I really wasn't expecting it. Yeah. Even when I heard the gunshot, I was like, Papa Fillins must have shot him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wasn't expecting it. And it was so powerful and so well done that it just really, like, more applause emojis.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Anything else?
I'm trying to think. It was one other thing. We covered the Jay Garrett's helmet. We covered all the stuff we saw in the Speed Force.
Oh, Eobard Thawne mentions Rip Hunter designing the first time sphere.
Machine, yeah.
Yes.
And Rip Hunter is going to be the one of the main focused on characters in DC's Legends of Tomorrow. The character of Rip Hunter is actually Booster Gold's son, another famous time traveler in DC.
Means nothing to me.
Exactly. Just for the couple of people listening that actually know what I'm talking about, I know it too.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
You don't have to.
And I'm not going to pretend that I know.
Hey, different viewpoints view different things differently.
Yes.
Different.
True.
All right, let's go to ratings on this then. Brian, what did you have this finale
4
at?
and a quarter.
4 and a quarter.
I also had this at 4 and a quarter.
Really?
I thought long and hard. I was like, should it be 4.5? Should it be? I was like 4 and a quarter.
There was a couple things early on. The wedding was a little cheesy.
I had,
just little things that kind of ruined it from being a perfect.
They spent a lot of time I felt like they spent a lot of time on Barry going back and forth and asking everyone for their opinions.
Which I liked and respected, but at the same time,
it was a while.
I thought this was a very good episode that became great in the last 10 minutes. I had this at a 4.5.
Wow.
Because, listen, any show that can literally draw tears from me is going to be in the upper echelon of ratings. I didn't think it was a perfect show. I still thought that the issues with Tom Cavanaugh's character existed and really hurt that last battle for me. But this rating, what I'm giving it, is probably 80% drawn on Grant Gustin's performance alone. So, Mr. Gustin, well done.
It was so good.
They sound like Victor Garber there for a second, but yeah.
The best thing you could ever do is sound like Victor Garber.
It's true. And what's her face is
There's
my daughter.
the title.
It's a little long.
So, what? You only got 140 characters there, Al?
That's right. That's fit in a tweet, Chris. back at the overall season, what did you really enjoy about the first season of The Flash as a whole? Because I thought one of the things I loved was, for the most part, the casting. I thought Grant Gustin, very good in the role, especially in the latter half of the season. Jesse L. Martin knocked it out of the park every single time.
The best. But
Definitely.
the best actor the whole season. I think if you look at who improved the most, Grant Gustin. Yeah. But as far as consistency, Papa Fillin.
For the win.
That's the MVP.
I thought Danielle Panabaker was good in the role, although she wasn't given a lot. Neither was Carlos Valdez.
No, her best episode was the karaoke one.
I disagree. She actually really liked that in reading her Reddit Ask Me Anything.
Yeah,
it was the most fun. It was, you got to see a different side of her.
And she was the most natural in that. I think it just played well. I hated her with Ronnie.
Drunk Caitlin is the best.
That's one of the things I disliked was all the romance
sucked.
stories.
And I just...
Because they make her character like just a meek little biatch when Ronnie's around, really. She just, kind of shrinks.
I thought the story told across the season in the Reverse Flash was well done for the most part. I didn't care too much for Tom Cavanaugh or really the character of Eobard Thawne in the first half because he was playing this I'm a good guy, but I'm also a bad guy, but I'm vaguely both, so you don't really care about me as either role, where I was really not enjoying Eobard Thawne there. I thought I enjoyed him the most when he was just a straight-up villain. And he was at his best.
Straight-up villain.
Cris, what did you really like about this season of The Flash?
I, like we said, absolutely love Papa Fillins. I thought he was fantastic. I love the way Grant Gustin grew as an actor. There were there were some highs and some lows, really. There were some storylines. Yeah, Girdle. Golden Girdle. There's
your show title.
There were some.
Golden Grinder. He's a gay app for men.
You ruined it. Thank you.
That's what he is.
There were some episodes where there were some villains that I enjoyed and some that just, they kept bringing back. Why did you keep bringing back
one particular one with goggles who wouldn't die?
Oh, you're telling me he's not going to be your favorite villain?
He's not. Spoiler alert. I thought in terms of things I didn't like, as I said, too many romance stories, and the issue with those were that a lot of the characters involved in them, when they weren't in this romance story, got no build whatsoever. I'm talking about Caitlin Snow here.
I think a lot of it was more of the show finding its legs early on and trying to see what the audience was going to respond to. The decision to kill Eddie actually happened mid-season, so that wasn't initially...
He fucking sucks, let's kill him.
No. It wasn't necessarily the plan for the entire season, just the way that they wanted to restructure the show. And you could see it from mid-season. The show really ended up growing and becoming, a whole nother, it took it to another level, not a CW show anymore. You almost forgot you watched a CW show the last couple of weeks.
I don't care. I watch a show because I enjoy it or not. I don't care about networks.
Bullshit.
I don't. Cris, someone who watches as many kids' television shows as I do,
but here
clearly is not prejudiced.
I'm saying what it does is that they do need to tailor the show to the audience that is going to tune in, and usually that ends up happening early out of the gate. Right, so the show's got to be picked up. It's got to, it's got to be sold at sweeps. It's got to be able to pull in advertisers and all that stuff. It has to have certain things that are formulaic. But they allowed them the creativity, or they just said, "Fuck it, let's do it," and it became this great show that it did. You forgot it was a CW show.
Why you stop putting down CW?
I think my issue was
not only shows suck.
Not only did they not
don't Supernatural 11th season next season.
Messengers.
They canceled that. They know what to cancel.
And just so you know,
iZombie's doing
just so you know, CW shows are some of the best shows across,
what are you
like
doing?
In other countries.
I was waiting for Cris to do the nod.
Oh, I wasn't doing that. Just so you know, they make a shitload of money off of selling their shows to other countries. People get obsessed over their shows.
Not only that, but a lot of them have marketable characters. Arrow and The Flash, of course, now.
Supernatural has its own just had its own convention in Italy.
There you go. There you go, Brian. Your tongue is silent now. My point still stands that they spent no time building these characters who were involved in these love stories when they weren't involved in the love angles. And especially secondary characters got nearly no focus in this season. I'm talking about Carlos Valdez's character of Cisco, Danielle Panabaker's character. Eddie, what do you know about Eddie besides he was dating Iris?
Nothing, and I think that's kind of a disservice to this. If they hadn't maybe given you more insight into him early on, I think his death would have been more impactful.
Absolutely.
I think the fact that he got back together with Iris, though, made his death a lot more impactful. Yeah. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been. It would have been.
He should have never broken up with Iris.
But when did he break up with her? Did he break up
last episode?
Yeah, see, but that's the problem.
That is the problem.
But what do you do?
Yes.
I don't know what to say
also,
to that.
It was the beginning of the last episode.
That's touche.
2 words have to be said that in terms of things that really hurt this season for me. Those 2 words are Robbie Amell.
No.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Got another one for you.
Not emotive.
It's just 1 word. Cold.
That's right. Wentworth Miller brought back so many times. Never a good performance throughout. And I'm not looking forward to seeing him on DC's Legends of Tomorrow. After this episode, I was actually really excited to see Victor Garber some more on Legends of Tomorrow.
There's a fantastic actor. The same way that I'd probably watch just a show about Papa Philin.
He was freaking good.
He
It's called Law and Order.
Wow. That's right. There's about 20 seasons of it.
Bum bum.
I look back at some of those old Law and Orders. He's so young.
I know.
He's like 20 something.
I was telling someone the other day about him being my favorite character on The Flash, and I was like, oh, he's the cop from Law and Order, and they're like, which one? It was like the black one. They were like, which one?
The one that's not Anthony Anderson.
No,
or Ice-T.
Basically like Ice-T. I was like, no, regular Law and Order, not SVU. I literally had to pull up a picture, and he looked so young.
Yeah. All right. I think anything else to add, or can we go to ratings?
That we hated, or ratings for
when it aired, the actual viewership.
Oh, by all means.
Okay. Go
ahead. This aired May 19th, of course, Tuesday, in the 8 o'clock hour as usual. The Flash had a very good 1.5 rating in 18 to 49, with a 5 share and 3.87 million viewers. That's mid-average, I would say. It's pretty much average for in terms of overall viewership, but 18 to 49, really quite good. Beat a new episode of Hell's Kitchen and a rerun of NCIS, so not bad for The Flash closing it up. On average, it was probably around a 1 point. I could check it, but I'm just assuming around a 1.5 or 1.6 rating, and probably 3.5. Actually, probably higher, like 4.2 million viewers, if I had to guess. And that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to look it up. Fair enough? All right. So as we say goodbye to The Flash, it was a fun season to watch. Much more fun than State of Affairs.
Oh, hell yes.
Damn right.
That's right.
Are we going to continue with The Flash for season 2?
No. We'll be picking another. We can all watch it and talk about it every once in a while.
You can watch it as much as your little heart desires, but
I think we'll need to do a separate Flash podcast.
Yeah, you and somebody else, right? It was fun to watch. I'll watch more of it. I certainly will be coming back for season 2, and it will be a draw into watching DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Let's go now to the first Tinny in a long damn time. I'll tell you that much. We haven't done one in maybe 6-7 weeks. And in honor of the season finale of The Flash, it's a very Flash-related Tinny. This week's Tinny is the favorite Flash villain from season 1. All right, Tinny time, folks. And as we said, favorite Flash villain from season 1. There's a lot of them to choose from, and really, any superhero is only as good as his supervillains. So let's find out what me, Cris, and Brayan thought about the villains on The Flash. Let's go to Brayan first. Brayan, what was your favorite Flash supervillain from season 1?
Everyman. Hannibal Bates. I thought it was the most well used in terms of the monster of the week type villain. served the purpose for the plot as well as serving, filling an episode. And it was just, he wasn't as bad as, let's say, Kyle Nimbus, or some of the other ones, the very early ones. And I wasn't going to pick Reverse Flash because he wasn't a villain, more a nemesis.
Right, it's kind of hard to compete.
Yeah,
because he's got so much time on the screen.
Right. And then Captain Cold, is he is he now a nemesis?
He is. I'd say he still is, because the last time we saw him...
Please stop talking about him. I can hear his voice in my head.
Look, guys, we need their help if we're going to pull this off.
Why are you wearing your mask? Snart already knows who you are.
And I promised I wouldn't tell anyone. That includes my sister.
Jerk.
Train wreck.
Seriously, it's like...
Yeah, so Everyman was I thought it was my favorite episode and use of let's call it a villain. And, yeah, that's it.
Fair enough. Cris, let's go to your favorite Flash villain from season 1.
You want to try and guess first?
All right. Brie Larvin.
Yes! Okay, so I was gonna go with, God, now I can't remember her name.
Peekaboo?
The officer.
Oh, Plastique.
Yeah. I was gonna go with Plastique.
Mm-hmm.
Because she wasn't really a villain. I mean, really, she was just trying to get away from the army, and I guess sort of, she kind of wanted revenge, right?
Yes, on
because they thought
General
that
Eiling.
they made her that way.
No, it's not that they made her. It's that
no, but she thought that they did.
Right. She had a piece of shrapnel in her, and then when the particle accelerator explosion hit her,
yeah,
it gave her.
But she
the
thought
power
it was
of
because of their experimentation on her.
Yeah.
Brie Larvin is the one I chose, and I chose her because,
Name
not
puns.
not just because she's a female villain, but she is one of the best female villains personally on the show.
You really did like her. We were talking about her after we taped that episode, and you were really high on Brie Larvin.
Okay, so the reason I liked her was she is a badass scientist. She's a badass scientist.
Maybe the baddest ass of scientists.
I mean, really.
Danielle Panabaker ain't competing. Yet.
Didn't you see them fighting each other? Oh, yes, I did. Type.
That's right. No, that was Felicity.
Oh, it was Felicity, yeah. Anyway.
She's the badassest scientist. That's why Ray Palmer's marrying her. Or dating her.
Can I continue?
Take it away.
Buying out the restaurant. Oh, a little too much?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Brie, basically, she's not a petty thug. She's not, just trying to steal some diamonds or anything. She's going after revenge. She wants to take out the scientist who basically got her fired from her job, and she's got badass robot bees who do her work for her while she's just chilling in her lair, in her honeycombed out lair.
That's right. One bad honey, as I used to say.
And I mean, she has bees that kill people and bees that apparently can, coordinate into her face and, scare other
I thought
scientists.
the issue with the episode, I like Brie Larvin also a lot too, because I like that whole gimmicky thing
where
a villain.
The bee puns were definitely up there with reasons
they were
why to choose her.
Yeah. I love that gimmicky character, those gimmicky characters that appear on comic books where, I'm the sky person, so everything I have is sky, or I'm Snake Man, so I have everything with snakes, and I say snakes puns a lot. I like that. And Brie did a very good job of it. I thought the issue with the episode, though, was that she wasn't given a lot of focus.
No, she wasn't. She was still my favorite, so. Yeah.
Fair enough. Good choice, Brie Larvin.
Kicking that snart ass.
And the funniest thing still bothers me. He can break Mach 2, but he can't outrun a bee.
Those bees are fast.
He also can't punch a guy in the face.
Well, in his defense, he ran 6
really
miles and had to land.
And he can't take on a gorilla.
That's right.
Hey.
My choice is actually not Gorilla Grodd, although a good choice, because I thought he served a good purpose. And
I want to guess who yours is.
By all means, Cris. It's pretty easy when you think about it.
Now,
it's neither of yours, I can tell you that.
It's Girdle.
Much. It's not Girder. I hate.
Reverse Flash?
No, I wouldn't pick him. You're not thinking. We saw him a couple of weeks ago. Actually, we saw him last week when we talked about him. It's General Wade Eiling.
Oh.
A great villain, maybe the best villain, true villain this season on The Flash. We first met him in the episode Plastique, where he's the evil general that's trying to capture her. And at the end of the episode, he's really more the villain than she is. Even though she's committing all these crimes, she's doing it because she's confused. He's trying to capture her and take her down. And Clancy Brown has this wonderful delivery where there's this arrogance and this overconfidence that he brings to the role of general, which really just makes you hate him. And, we saw him do this in a different way with Lex Luthor in Batman the Animated Series. He's very good in these roles, and he does a great job. General Eilings as a character also had a lot of influence throughout the season. We see him with Grodd when he's being controlled by Grodd. I thought he had a great performance there. But he was also really important in the episode whose title I forget, where he kidnaps Victor Garber and basically threatens to kill him if he doesn't tell him about Firestorm. And
oh yeah, and then Victor Garber starts carving in his arm.
That's right.
So that Ronnie can feel it.
The best part of that whole episode was Ronnie starts carving himself, and
Caitlin's like, no!
And Barry's just like, no, let him do it. Let him do it. No, but Clancy Brown did a great job in all of these episodes and really made you hate him as a bad guy. And that's what I look for in a villain. I don't want to sympathize with a villain. I don't want to see the villain's point of view. I want a villain to hate, because that means that I care even more when he's defeated and when the good guy's going after him. And Clancy Brown does that in spades. General Eiling, my choice. Well done, sir. There you go, folks. That's the Tinny this week. Don't know what we're doing next week. Actually, I know exactly what we're doing next week. Next week, if you're sick of talking about superheroes, fuck off, because we're doing an all superhero episode. It's our Batman the Animated Series retro rerun. 3 episodes chosen by me, so they'll all be great. And we're going to talk about them. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come in, come back. 4-hour show next week, probably.
How many Matchstick Malone episodes?
None. They're all wonderful episodes, believe me. I've seen them all many times, and I love them all.
I can do my Matchstick Malone accent.
Thank God. The viewers have been begging for more of your wonderful
More
impressions.
Malone! More Malone.
Hitting me up on Twitter telling me, get that Malone on there. Now it's time to hear about all the exciting things going on at B911B.com.
Before we start, can we just say thank you, Al, for a wonderful website redesign and launch?
It is up there. It's not perfect yet, but I think it looks good, and the bugs will be ironed out fairly soon.
Yeah.
If Brie Larson gets to it.
That's right.
Okay,
our buzzworthy one. Buzzworthy is the only one I remember now.
I know.
It's sweet. It stung to have to change it, but I believe it was the right choice.
Yes.
Buzz.
I think if our listeners have not checked it out yet, it is wonderful.
Yeah, and it looks good on all mobile devices, so give it a try there, too.
Did we mention about the new logo?
Well, I'm sure they've seen it by now.
No, but have we mentioned it?
No, we haven't promoted it.
Shout out to Al for that new logo.
Can we say this shit is on Fleek?
Okay, no,
can we not say
you ruined it.
Can we just say it's a nice
No one's ever going to say
logo,
Fleek again.
Good, thank God. That's
believe
the
me,
point.
that
is the point.
That was a lot of...
That was the least confident Fleek I've ever heard. This shit is on Fleek.
We were complimenting Al, and somehow you guys got into an argument about it.
You're great.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks,
Kudos.
Bay.
No.
I'm going to kill that too. We just might as well kill everything.
You're just killing Al's kudos here. Anyway, it was a lot of work, but in the end, I think we ended up with a couple of nice logos.
So. Oh yeah, the logo's fantastic.
Glad
the website redesign is great.
Al's awesome. Thanks, fourth person who walked in here and wasn't me saying it. Yes. Brian, finally now, B911B.com, your photo blog. Tell us about all the exciting things going on there.
Mostly stuff from the city. I really haven't put anything up besides that.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of new shots of the city. A lot more coming, because I'm sure Memorial Day will be taking a lot of photos.
I am going into the city tomorrow, walk around.
See? There you go. If you want to see lovely, lovely photos of New York City from the point of view of one of its residents, B911B.com is the place to check that out. B911B photo on Instagram, B911B22 on Twitter. Cris.
Yes.
The only thing people are more excited about than your Matchsticks Malone impression is hearing about all the new posts going up. CrisConkers.com.
There actually are a lot. I've been really busy, like a little bee lately.
Better. Yeah.
Clever.
I believe I suck at these puns.
No, you're okay. You're no queen bee, but, you'll do.
My favorite singer is Beyonce. Sorry.
Yeah, because she's the queen bee.
She is indeed.
You just reworded mine, but okay. Okay.
I apologize.
So there have been a lot of posts going up lately, some book reviews for tour spots, and they have giveaways. They have tour-wide giveaways, so if you guys want to, enter and win some lovely digital copies of books, enter. There's also a bunch of skincare posts going up. There was just one about tea for your bathtub, essentially bath tea. It's a big tea bag that you put in your bathtub.
Is this Al approved?
Does it come with a giant straw that I can just sit there and drink from while listening to podcasts?
You're not supposed to drink it. You're supposed to bathe in it and relax and,
Oh, I bathe
soak
in
up
my
those
tea. Usually
herbal-
I just miss the mouth and it just on the shirt.
I didn't love it. I loved it as a concept, but as a bath experience.
You were really excited about getting one. I remember for the longest time you wanted to order that one from Urban Outfitters.
They're the ones from Urban Outfitters. I ordered them. Basically, I was waiting for free shipping because they only have it on the website. They don't have them in store.
And it's not that. It's like a $3 thing, and you have
It was
to pay
$4, yeah.
And you have to pay like $8 shipping or whatever.
Exactly. It made no sense. So I waited for free shipping, and I got them. And then I also have, like I said, some skincare posts going up. There's a new Origin serum I've been trying out that's going up. And then, of course, next week, last week of the month, got favorites. Al knows.
I do
monthly.
indeed.
Well, I try to get monthly favorites up last week of the month, but usually it's like the first
That's right.
week of the new month.
Yeah, how can you talk about your favorites from a month if the month doesn't
till them
end?
days are done?
Can I say I also finished Sherlock? I just finished it this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
It's so good.
What a good show. Third
He's
season.
looking at my TV favorites post.
Yes. See, say it. See, says I don't read it, but I actually do.
You just read it right now.
No, I'm not even doing anything remotely.
I can't read. What are you talking about? I recognize the pictures.
No, actually,
He just waited till the podcast to mention it to me.
That's right.
Even though I posted it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh no, because I
Or a
just
week
finished
ago.
Sherlock.
Doesn't even
Okay.
matter. Chris.
It's good.
What's the
it's
website?
great.
It's really good.
What's the website?
It is CrisConkers.com.
No H.
CRIS. Conkers.com.
There you go. Corral, Twitter, Corral, Instagram.
Yes.
Now, Chris.
This is what I was busy doing.
If someone wants to tell us or maybe ask us exactly how many tears I shed because of the finale of The Flash, it's 2, but if you don't believe me, you want to ask me, where can they do that?
If you'd like the final tally.
That's right. Maybe I cry some more after the show.
It's possible. You know, there's still chances for tears.
I can watch it again. I literally rewatched that one scene twice just so I could write it and just so I could cry a little bit more. Chris,
Every time Al needs to shed a few tears, he will bring up that clip.
That's right. Some people like to listen to the theme from Ice Castles. I just watch Grant Gustin. Makes me cry.
Anyway, if you'd like to get the final tally, you can tweet us on Twitter at antenna_heads. You can also check out our website, broadcast.com, where we have all of our old episodes, new episodes, future episodes up. You can also listen to our episodes on TuneIn, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and on YouTube, which you can give us a thumbs up or a comment. Hopefully some nice comments, because,
Tell us we fucking suck. I don't care.
And you can rate us in all those places. So, do
Those
that.
you really think of Brayan.
We already do.
Yeah.
Every week. Believe me, the piss and vinegar that would come out of these listeners is nothing compared to what your friends give you on a daily basis. Bastard. All right. Anything else, Chris?
I think that's about it, Al.
Very good.
That was not my Matchstick Malone.
That was weird.
It was not. I don't know what it was.
One last thing before we leave. I took a quiz on BuzzFeed this week again. Because,
Did you?
Shocking.
In a moment of self-exploration, I wanted to find out what something I was. And BuzzFeed is
What
the best
was the something
arbiter
that you
of that. It was, what Taylor Swift 1989 music video am I?
But she hasn't made videos for all the songs
She's
yet.
made a lot of them, though. 4 or 5. Now, the question is, guys, you've seen most of them. Which song, music video, do you think I am?
Bad Blood, because you're...
You're a bad song.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brian, any guesses?
No.
I know which one you would want to be.
I would embarrass myself.
You would
by
want to
not
be
knowing.
Blank Space.
It's the best music video, but I'm not that one. I'm the one that I hate
You're
the most. Style.
Shake It Off.
No, I'm Style.
You hate Style more than Shake It
I
Off?
would rather be Shake It Off. It's annoying, but at least there's like a motif.
Midnight.
It's a good song. But no, Style is a shit song.
I like the bass line for style. Bum 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum 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 ba-dum.
It's a wonderful impression.
It's good.
No,
that's not an impression. Come on, that is spot on.
Fine.
It's a
buzzworthy impression.
Thank you.
Riding that right
I
into
bow.
the ground. And on that note, time to end the show. Take it away, Brian.
Well, for Alex and Cristina, this is Brian saying thank you for listening to let me just say thank you for listening to our flashbacks, right?
Absolutely.
20
Final flashback.
Thank you for listening to everything.
Final flashback.
But for those, and maybe if you want us to keep reviewing Flash, just let us know.
No, it's not going to happen, Brian.
It might.
No.
How about this? We'll talk about it later. I'll save it.
Oh, no.
I will save this possibility for the future. Take it
So
away,
for Cristina and Alex, this is Brian saying thank you for listening to episode 92 of Antenna Heads.